Hello everyone, thank you for coming back to our channel. In this video, we will be discussing the next chapter manhwa comic titled Return of the Blossoming Blade or Return of the Manhwa sect. Let's go to chapter 16. Enjoy watching this video. Changming, desperately trying to save himself from the fall, stretched out his hand and activated his chi-sucking technique, hoping to grab her cliff and stopped his descent. However, the impact was too strong, causing his finger bones to break, eliciting a scream of pain as he fell again. Miraculously, as he fell, the momentum from the previous chi suction pushed him towards the entrance of a cave, where he landed precariously. But the force of the landing sent him tumbling through the entrance, and once again, he found himself in free fall. In a twist of fate, the previously broken rope managed to get entangled between the rocks of the cliff, suddenly stopping its downward plunge. Grateful for this unexpected reprieve, Changming immediately climbed back to the cave entrance, his voice filled with frustration and disbelief. Changming climbed to the cave entrance, expressing his frustration in a loud voice. He couldn't believe that the Plum Blossom Sword Monk had chosen such an impractical location as his hiding place. He questioned the sanity of the decision, wondering if the strict training had driven the Sword Saint insane. At that moment, a realization dawned on Changming. He remembered that he was the Plum Blossom Sword Saint, thus causing a moment of introspection. Glancing forward, Changming's eyes fell on a closed object. He removed the cloth and revealed a glowing orb, a nightlight crystal that had been brought into the cave, indicating a lack of foresight on the part of the Plum Blossom Sword Saint. With anticipation, he opened a box, only to find another box inside. Realizing that he had finally found what he was looking for, Changming's joy grew even greater. This was a plum blossom pill that could potentially help his body recover. Upon opening the box, he was greeted with a glowing pink light, filling the room with the scent of a plum tree in full bloom. To his joy, Changming found not only plum blossom pills, but also snowflower pills, which were even more valuable and plentiful. The realization that the Plum Blossom Sword Monk had hidden the treasure made him surprised at his own courage. Speaking to his Savyang, Changming jokingly begs for understanding, assuring her that he is not hiding the most expensive pill of life in a certain location. Overcome with joy, he couldn't hold back his laughter, enjoying the incredible discovery he had discovered. When Changming took the snowflower pill, he felt it melt instantly, its elegant fragrance spreading throughout his body. However, he didn't have time to enjoy the fragrance. He needed to focus on containing the chi of the pill inside his body, preventing it from escaping. But he soon realized that the chi from the snowflower pill could not be used to recover his impure innate true chi in its current state. The pride of Manhwa sect, the snowflower pill, had too many impurities to be stored directly in his dantian. Changming knew he had to purify it. Even though it meant wasting most of the chi stored in the pills, Changming made the difficult decision to take the longer route and build the most complete and perfect foundation. He couldn't let impatience dictate his actions. With single-minded determination, he filtered out impurities, keeping only the purest chi. However, he couldn't help but feel it was a waste because of the little pure chi he had left. Nevertheless, he stored these precious fragments deep within his dantian, into the very core of his being innate true chi. As the purifying true chi began to converge within him, the entire cave emitted a bright light. Changming, who was now floating in a meditative position, felt the veins on his neck and face bulge, and his entire body was enveloped in an intense light. He screamed, a mixture of pain and joy, as his body underwent a transformation triggered by the fusion of true chi. The process was intense, pushing her limits and bringing her one step closer to total recovery and deeper inner strength. That is the end of chapter 16, so now let's next to chapter 17. As Changming's body continued to glow, he clenched his fist and another wave of light shot out from the cave. Soon Changming opened his eyes, and he couldn't help but admire the miraculous healing of his broken bones and scars. He noticed that his bones felt stronger than before, a testament to his young body's compatibility with the chi from the pill. The effect exceeded his expectations. Furthermore, he felt the remaining impurities in his body leak out, and he felt as if his meridians were expanding. However, he suddenly felt his heart pounding and felt a sharp pain. He realized that the chi flowing back from his lower dantian had penetrated the middle dantian. It felt like a huge ocean wave, uncontrollable and dangerous. If it penetrated the upper dantian, his inner strength would become unruly, Chunming knew he had to stop it from flowing. In his pain and struggle, he heard a familiar voice. It was his brother, Youngmun. Brother speaks up, questioning whether Chunming is a Taoist or a martial artist. He explains that martial artists try to forcefully suppress and control the flow, whereas those who follow the path of Tao tolerate it. Brother advised him not to try to suppress the natural flow of the world. Brother emphasized that if someone builds a dam to stop water, then he will find a way to drain the obstruction. Instead, he encourages Chunming to let things be as they are, to let them flow naturally. Humans are part of nature and cannot be separated from its beauty. Brother urges him to accept the flow of life and trust in the wisdom inherent in it. Chunming then finds himself in a strange place. He intuitively knew that he was in his upper dantian. He observed the cracked wall in front of him, which served as the entrance to his upper dantian. He placed his hand on the cracked wall and felt a huge vibration behind the wall. He understood that it was only a matter of time before the qi penetrated the upper dantian. Pondering the dangerous state of his upper dantian, Chunming realized the need to open the wall carefully. If he did it too quickly, the qi would sweep through his upper dantian. He recalled brother's words about letting things flow, realizing that trying to forcefully stop the qi would only lead to an overflow of the qi. He acknowledged brother's wisdom, even though in the past he didn't pay much attention to it, because he thought brother's words were just nagging. He accepted the tide, understanding that resistance would only bring further destruction. Qi begins to flow naturally from the lower dantian to the middle dantian, and finally to the upper dantian. As a new day arrived, Chunming opened his eyes and a feeling of confusion crossed his face as he found himself floating in the air. He then falls to the ground and questions why he is floating. As Chunming observed the unobstructed meridians throughout his body and felt the difference in his new strength, he was amazed at the resilience of his young body. Realizing the potential consequences of his previous actions, he recognizes brother's invaluable teachings as having saved him from death or paralysis. Feeling the benefits of his efforts, Chunming admitted that his efforts had paid off. His innate qi had been restored, his meridians widened, and his inner strength increased. He marvels at the newfound strength in his body, attributing it to his enlightenment after facing death previously. His brother's teachings, which he had dismissed as nagging in his past life, were starting to make sense to him. As he walked towards the cave entrance, Chunming pondered his identity. In his previous life, he was a swordsman, not a Taoist. However, Manhwa sect encompassed both swordsmanship and Taoism. Doubt arose within him, questioning whether someone like him could truly revive the Manhwa sect. Despite this, Chunming decided to give it his all. He would try everything in his power, whatever the outcome. He glanced at the pills before him, realizing that they meant nothing to him now. However, he recognized its potential value to others who could benefit greatly from it. Determined, he decided it was time to return. But suddenly he went back into the cave and came back with 2 bottles stuck to his back. He convinced himself that it had nothing to do with his desire to drink alcohol. He was just curious about the taste of 100-year-old liquor. The unchanging nature of the cave, despite the many changes that the Manhwa sect had experienced, evoked the feeling of reliving his past life every time he was inside. Chunming thought about brother Jangmun, which made him really miss him, and admitted that he really missed the past. He decided to return to this place periodically, realizing its importance in his heart. With new determination, Chunming leaps high into the air, climbing the cliff at a speed that was impossible for him the day before. Each jump pushed him closer to the top, and when he reached the top, he looked back at the magnificent sunrise. When Chunming reached the top of the cliff, he noticed a lightness in his body, enjoying the sensation. He took a deep breath, enjoying the freshness of the air from above. However, his fun was suddenly interrupted when he smelled a foul smell in the air. Shocked and disgusted, he wondered why such an unpleasant smell was emitting from his body. That is the end of chapter 17. So now let's next to chapter 18. While the students inside dormitory house started discussing Chunming's current weak condition as soon as their special morning practice started. The gap he made in his routine was noticed by everyone present in the training pit, and they started making plans to gang up on him to make a stop for all their hard training, but it was all in vain when Chunming finally revealed his sober state to everyone, looking better than before. He makes an announcement to everyone stating how sorry he is for neglecting their part of the practice, but that he feels better now. From before they had to go to the top of Lotus Mountain and come back to atone for their mistakes. Suddenly Jo Gul and Jonghyun started heading to Lotus Mountain with great enthusiasm, while the others continued to follow them for fear of being punished, instead of being punished. His anger at Chungmyung's disciples was actually motivated by courage, which made them conspire against him, but he would not spare them if they did not have the strength to back up their claims. Chungmyung believes that the success of the entire sect depends on everyone belonging to the sect, and when they finally complete the task, all the disciples lying on the ground are exhausted and wasted except for Jonghyun. His strong mentality separates him from the others, but when Chungmyung appeared without any fatigue on his body while he continued to lift countless heavy stones, leaving them all flabbergasted when the training ended, everyone present in the hall continued to discuss Chungmyung's madness, but Jo Gul believed that he must have already made up his mind in his mind. Soon everyone given life pills including Jo Gul to improve their morale and body at the same time, which makes them very sharp and strong. Anam was amazed to see how Chungmyung was able to bring about such changes in a short time. Suddenly the sect leader entered the training hall with a worried look because of something that even made Anam speechless when he opened the martial arts book which Chungmyung found. That is the end of chapter 18, so now let's next to chapter 19. The last page of the book contained a note from the previous sect leader stating that they should continue teaching the balanced sword technique as the foundation of the Manhwa sect, while the sect leader, considering the words spoken by ancestor Anam, decided not to think the same, considering the fact that they did not have enough time to make such adjustments. But when she again witnessed the sudden changes made by Chungmyung, she wanted to take his words as advice to make drastic changes in their future. The sect leader was stunned to listen to Chungmyung because he only considered the pride of the Chungmyungs, putting Manhwa sect above all else. He couldn't believe that he heard something like that from the mouth of a child, and the cult leader ordered Anam to change the basic technique to the real one. Not only that, but also he wanted Anam to follow through every other technique aspects of mountain sect engineering at the same time. On the other hand, Chungmyung is angry at the incompetent Manhwa sect leaders, thinking about his future visit to Huayan Prefecture, which might even reveal their additional mistakes as time goes by. That is the end of chapter 19, so now let's next to chapter 20. Manhwa sect finally felt at peace after solving not only financial problems, but also the establishment of a new technique to propel his future, but Chungmyung did not believe in the same aspect when he asked Jo Gul for advice for sexual progress. Chungmyung is shocked to learn the harsh reality because they keep having problems even when trying to buy goods from merchants. While discussing the tragedy that befell them, Jo Gul finally revealed some important information regarding a great merchant named Elder Wang who was active in Shanxi province. Apparently the man named Elder Wang was the sponsor of the Manhwa sect for a long time, and is still standing. It was only thanks to him when Chungmyung wanted to ask for his help that Jo Gul revealed that he had been bedridden for the past year due to his illness as he remained unconscious. Yunam's sudden arrival was a shock in his life because he stated that he had to deliver an important letter to the sect leader. He was from the Yinhe Merchant Guild in which the elder was hanged, was part of how Changyang found out that Elder Wang's son was the one who sent the letter to them, which mentioned his father's illness. Not only that, the letter also revealed some important information regarding his father's symptoms, which made his chi veins churn as he lost consciousness while reading the letter. That is the end of chapter 20. Stay tuned for the next one. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you everyone.